I'm going to do my best to try and make something happen with her in a respectful way, non-invasive way, and she can say no. No is a good answer. I would like to take you on a date. I think you're pretty, and I would like to see you. That's pulling the trigger. That's not saying, hey, maybe we can hang out sometime, or you'd like to do yoga with me. It's just, yeah.
Yeah. Does she like me? She can't like me. A woman like that, she can't like. A woman like that, she could like me. But this one, who I've, thrusted on her this epitaph of goddess, and who is all of this in my mind, how can she like me? And 5 of her friends are saying things like, Jordan, she likes you.
Yeah.
It's clear. I've never seen her like this before. Jordan, she likes you. She told me she likes you. And I'm still like, yeah, but she's probably teasing me, and she's probably setting you up to tell me that she likes me, so that I then approach her, so then she can reject me, and then everyone is going to laugh. Welcome back to the podcast. We're going to have a bit more of a focused episode today, because we have a listener's topic. So, Zan, we had a lot of input and feedback on the episode we made 2 shows ago, which is around the topic of when does it click?
Okay.
When does it finally click that my understanding, all the stuff that I've been reading and trying to learn, it lands in my body. I have a way of feeling good, predicting the kind of rhythm and the fluidity of my interactions. When does that click in a way that I feel like it's there? I don't have to doubt it anymore. And one of the messages that we got in our group was, this comes from G, we'll call this reader G. I liked what Jordan said about knowing when attraction is there and when it is mutual on the last podcast. That is something I've been looking to cultivate more as well. I've experienced it with a few women where the attraction is mutual, and it's an amazing feeling. I would love more content on this topic. So I think there's a couple of very, very big, important questions in this one. How do I know when she's into me? How do I know when attraction is present, particularly on her part? And then how can I recognize, participate with a sense of attraction that is mutual, rather than my hopes, my projections, my, idealization, and then trying to make something happen? How do I know when it is mutually arising?
That's the question.
This is the field of content. So my question is, riff a little bit on how you generally see this. What is, how do you recognize attraction? What is mutual attraction? How does that seem to work in your regard? And then I've got a few pointers that I made in preparation, because I've been thinking about this for a couple of days as a response. So I've got a number of things that I want to say more from the internal, what's going on in our own psychology that can potentiate this or be a block, which is, I think, the case for most men.
It's rather abstract, the concept of attraction. So let me just try and put some framework around it. I did 2 weeks ago the Guild retreat, and we talked about this idea that I told stories about the idea that I'm in the presence of a woman that I'm attracted to, and I can't read her signals at all. This is the story of my life in my younger days. I had no idea if she was attracted to me or not. I couldn't tell. Because women are expert at hiding it. They are trying to not be needy themselves, and this is trying to be demure and all this kind of stuff. And so they're expert at hiding it. I can't tell you how many times I've been, and as an example, various variations on this theme. I'm sitting in a car with a girl, and I'm talk, trying to get her in the mood, trying to see if she's, warming up. And finally, I remember this one chick to me said, "Are you going to keep talking, or are you going to try and kiss me? Like, what's going on here?" I had no clue. And I think that's a huge theme for a lot of men, is they just don't know. Should I kiss her? Should I sit closer to her? She turned away. Does that mean anything? and they just analyze every little tick and bump and hiccup from the girl, and as either positive or negative, and they're doing their best. No one teaches you how to read these signals or read this kind of thing. So attraction, the broad question is, how do you know if she's attracted to you? What are the signs, I guess? My best advice on that is to just assume it, because to know the heart of a woman is super difficult. I would make an assumption that she's attracted, and err on the side of that rather than on the side of, well, she just kind of didn't seem very interested, so maybe I'll just say goodnight and wend my way home. You just never know. And so the other common theme of the Guild Retreat was, you got to pull the trigger. If you don't pull the trigger, if you don't invite, if you don't say I like you, if you don't say I would like to kiss you or anything like that, if you don't pull the trigger in some way, you're not going to ever know. So I think that's a big thing. So I think you should stop trying to look for attraction from her. Know that you are attracted to her. That's something you can ask yourself, an honest question, and probably come up with a decent answer. So I'm attracted to her. I'm going to do my best to try and make something happen with her in a respectful way, non-invasive way. And she can say no. No is a good answer. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and to no is a good answer. At least it's something that gives clarity. So yeah, I would err on the side of she's attracted to me, and I would act accordingly until I'm instructed by her that that's not the case. Because you're never going to be adept at reading the signs of attraction for a woman. I shouldn't say that, but even now, I don't know. In all my years, I'm like, really? Oh, okay, now I get it now. Takes me a minute to twig into it, because they're so good at being distant and aloof and hiding their real intention. Yeah.
So we could stop the podcast here, because we already have a complete frame for holding this and taking action. You said to know the heart of a woman is super difficult.
Yeah.
Therefore, assume she's attracted.
Yeah.
Just as a basis for taking action. You know that you're attracted, so act from there. And pull the trigger.
Yeah. You gotta say it. I would like to take you on a date. I think you're pretty, and I would like to see you. That's pulling the trigger. That's not saying, hey, maybe we can hang out sometime, or you'd like to do yoga with me. It's just, yeah.
Yeah. So there's a complete frame and there's a complete system.
Yeah.
Let's say that's level 1. Work with that. Work with that for a while. But there's let's go into level 2 of this, because most men that I know in this conversation are not satisfied with that. They sense that there is more insight and more perception and more knowing that's available. And so on the one hand, you have spoken for years about sub-communication. You just said, perhaps very coyly, you don't even know when attraction is there and you're still learning it for yourself. And yet you've also said at various points, I'm a master beyond what anything else I've seen in the world of men at understanding the subtle signal. I mean, it's the first phrase on your website. What we do better than anyone else is understanding the subtle signals that let you know when attraction is there. So I'm just going to call you out. I think you're being coy. But what's interesting in what you said is noticing when a woman is into you is already a subtle skill, because if she is into you, she has a lot of motivation, therefore, to hide it, whether she's conscious of that or it's just a natural kind of hiding. It's almost a game of peekaboo, where she'll give a little signal and want you to see, but most of the time she's hiding behind something, which is, I don't want to make the signal so obvious, because, I mean, that is either going to be embarrassing, take the mystery out of it, bring towards me a lot of unwanted attention. I mean, you can name a big laundry list of reasons why she wouldn't make that clear, but I want to hone into that the subtlety of she feels attraction towards you, but something in her feels compelled to hide it.
Okay, yeah.
That's the thing you're looking for. The metaphor I get when you say that is like you're panning for gold in a river, in a way. It's there, but there's a lot of fool's gold, fake gold. You think you found a little nugget of attraction, but it's not real. But it's not, it's abundant if you know how to look, but it just looks like a river and you don't know what you're looking for. If you're not used to seeing this particular thing, signals that are clear and subtle, but occult in a way, and beyond what most men are able to perceive.
Right. I mean, like the subtle little things you pick up over the years of experience makes you just, like I said, you're never 100% certain, but you have a pretty good idea. For instance, she's still present. That's a huge tell right there. As far as I'm concerned, she's still engaging. And I'll say it, hey, you're still talking to me. I don't, you think you're blah, blah, blah. And I don't like, yeah, you're still here talking to me. You're still here. So something's going right. Now we might be able to put the mechanics around it and say, okay, here's the physiognomy of it all. Her eyes dilate, pupils dilate. She blushes a bit, or she touches her cheek. And these are all little things, but the broad spectrum, the broad package is that she's present, she's engaging. She might be one word answering you, but you can still feel that she's still there. And guys go on dates with women and they think, well, what should I do to get her in the mood to be more intimate? She's on a date with you. And the idea is that she's hoping you won't screw it up. She's hoping you will sweep her off her feet. And so you start from that framework. I think the basis of it all is the framework that we're trying to be attractive to women. And so we're trying to maximize that, which makes a lot of sense. But you've also got to come from a perspective and a framework that attraction is inherent. Attraction is we don't know what catches our eye, what catches our psyche, what catches our belief system, and on her side either. So you just have to put yourself in a maximal position to have experiences. That means, what are you doing with your time? Where are you near women or not? If you're chopping on wood all day in the backyard, there's no women there. Even though it's good for your, presence of mind. So you've got to put yourself in the place where you can have maximal experiences and then make assumptions based on your intuition, and just based on, it's better to make assumptions that are good than assumptions that are bad. She's attracted to you because she agreed to go on a date. So, and the style of women showing that are different. Women in New York, they're the ones that'll kind of lead the date. They say, well, "Listen, I don't have time. I'm busy," and other women will be demure and recalcitrant, and you have to kind of coax them into it, and they want to be coaxed. So, yeah. Like I said, there's mechanics you could probably explore, but they're so subtle. Like the way she flashes her eyebrows, or I mean, her bats her eyelids, her eyelashes, or not. I don't know if that's helpful. But the best thing to do is you can go to a body language expert and maybe learn all this kind of stuff. And she crosses her leg twice, and she turns her shoulder, and then she opens her, her upper shoulder or upper body to you, and it means this and this and this and this and this. I don't know these things; I just intuit it. And you could probably learn that way. But the best advice I could give to any man is just assume. It's a good thing. Assume she likes you until she says, no, I'm not interested. Thank you. She can't say, no, I'm not interested if you don't invite. There's no opportunity for her to say that. You can say, you come to this gym here often. Yeah, I like this gym too. Okay, well, I'll see you next time. You didn't pull the trigger, invite, or do anything like that. So there's nothing for her to say no to, which is a good answer. No is a great answer. So, that help.
Listening to you, I've also got the image of hunting in a big forest or fishing, that when you're a first timer, you're just bewildered. But over the outings and the years of practice and being part of a particular wilderness, you just get a feel for it. And that's it. And so it's a highly subtle skill and based very much on your perception, and then being used to the environment in general, being able to feel through the forest, to feel into where does my intuition lead me, that there's a truth of something I can shoot here. So, conquest metaphor, but like, when is there a moment here when I'm on the hunt that I can engage, because the likelihood I feel through my body that there's a likelihood that this is on?
I will say it again. If we're attracted to somebody, if we see a woman standing on the sidewalk and she's window shopping, and we're attracted to some aspect of her, something draws our heart toward her, and we would like to, we'd like to meet her, like to say hello to her, like to ask about her day, all these things. These are truths, right? Um, by not doing so, you're failing something inherent in you and inherent in the universe, and because you are attracted to her. That's the lead magnet. That's the thing that says it is worthy of my time and attention to attend to this matter. And when we don't, it's when we misalign and we fail. So, and the reason I say that is because there's so many times in my life when I've like had that hesitating moment, and I said, "Well, she looks busy. She's probably got a boyfriend. She's out of my league. I'm wearing this sweaty, ugly old T-shirt, and she's all dressed up nice." And so we let that moment pass thousands and thousands of times, because the times that I did go and say, "Okay, well, my T-shirt's ratty, and she's probably got a boyfriend, but I got to say something anyway," I was shocked that the percentage of positive responses, and without knowing that she's attracted to me, until it's expressed by her. So I think I think the question might slow us down, because we're trying to learn. We're trying to be a man that learns what attraction signs and what attraction feels like. The question itself is saying, how can I know about mutual attraction, for instance? How can I know that this is real? You've got to make your assumptions in life and act accordingly. That's the best advice I can give. I think that's you've got to base it on your attraction and act on it. Your feeling. That's all you know. You don't know anything about her. You're making up a story about her. You're making up assumptions about her that may or may not be true. Maybe an entirely new story or assumptions about her that are true. She could be lonely and looking for a guy just like you, and you just don't know, because you assume it all in your head. You live both sides of the conversation, yours and hers, before you ever meet her. You live it out. You plan it out. You map it out. Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, and you reject it and you go. So you don't bother, and it's the not bothering that is the failure. They're not showing up. That's the prime failure. Her saying no is not a failure. Her saying no is a great answer. That's you showing up and standing on this earth and leaving nothing to chance. You got to leave nothing to chance. If you're lonely and don't want to be lonely, you can't leave anything to chance. You can't assume. You can't do both sides of the play, of the script in your head, her side and your side, and play it out, because you don't know. You don't know what's going on in her world, what she's attracted to, who she is. You got to go. You're muted, Jordan.
So you're rebuffing the premise of the conversation, which is, how do I know when attraction is mutual, and therefore how can I participate in a mutually arising attraction?
Yeah.
You're saying you don't know, and you can't fully really ever know. You can kind of know if you make the assumption that it's there, but actually you advocate for a man to take action without knowing and without waiting and assuring himself that there's a mutual attraction.
Right, because it's kind of, you don't know it until you're in it, like a mutual attraction, until you're experiencing it. Now, there may be others that are saying, well, just look for these signs. But I think it slows men down because it'll make you, I want to get my golf swing correct before I go into the golf course. You know, I want to practice my elbow up. And nothing prepares you and nothing educates you more than going out on the golf course and just hacking away, hacking the ball. Someone can go in the water, someone can go into the weeds. And every now and then you hit a perfect shot. This thing about golf and why it's so addictive, because you go out there and you're shanking the ball and you're hitting it 3 feet, and then just accidentally you hit a shot like Tiger Woods would do, and you think, what? Hey, it's possible. I can do this. It's the same thing with approaching women.
That resonates with my early days of exploring this with Amorata. I'm going to make some assertions here, and I would say that I operate in a frame that has a view that attraction is or often is mutually arising, and there are currents and flowerings of attraction, bloomings of attraction that are very mutual. Maybe when I think this, I'm just fused with my own assumption, and you've now got a philosophical distance from your own assumption. But I believe very strongly that if I'm out in the forest and there's a woman attracted to me and I get an intuition that she is, I believe that it is true because of actual perceptual signs that I feel on a very subliminal level. So am I assuming? Perhaps this operates all within a grand assumption. But then I have the volume of experience that tells me I'm probably onto something.
Yeah, the layer behind it, Jordan, is what I wrote in The Alabaster Girl. If we could clear away all of the need and ego and horniness and stuff from our eyes, we would only be attracted to the women who would be automatically attracted to us as well. We would be drawn to the ones that like us, and vice versa. But it's offside a lot, and we're drawn to women, and we try, you know, with women who are not attracted to us at all, and it's offside because we can't see clearly because of all the filters over our eyes.
Well, that's what I wanted to really get into with my vision of this on this episode, because when she asked this question, how can I participate with mutually arising attraction and know when it's there? The one word that comes into my mind and flashes is ego. Ego. If it wasn't for ego or perceptual filters or all the different ways that this gets in the way, then we would be able to participate with a natural phenomenon very purely. And when I watch animals in their mating dance, which I've had the misfortune of doing a lot living in nature, right, in Bali over the last few years, animals go about their dance without too much mental back and forth. From what I can see of it, they see, they feel the heat, the prickly heat gets the better of them. They're compelled, therefore, to move towards their mate magnetically, and they do what's needed to be done with the physical body. I think we have these mechanisms within us in an archaic level of our own body. And a lot of men know, if I just go out and get into a flow state, or if I go out and I have the right amount of drinks, not too many and not too few, I can enter into this place where the ego is suffused and my nature can do its thing. And I typically end up with someone really great, and I'm naturally have this flow.
Yeah,
I think that the common men that we've worked with most commonly have had 4 or 5 nights in their life where they entered a kind of state like that, and they're like, well, it's been a couple of years and I don't know how to get back to my best.
right.
Which is a lovely exploration. So I want to say a few things about the ego, because from my perspective of the work, which I'm with every passing year, I become much more internally focused. Like, sure, I think every man, many of the men in the guild, even if you're in your 40s or your 50s or your early 60s, you might need to spend a year where you go out with a couple of friends, you dare each other, you get in the environment, you chase women like you might never have done as an adolescent, right? And you rack up your experience in the forest, your minutes on the court. You have to have some pattern recognition. But I think actually how to work with the different aspects of the ego can really accelerate this massively. So
okay.
I'm going to rifle through a few of these, and I mean these I've learned all too painfully within my own self. But let's say we're all going to go out and there's a nice party, social gathering. There's 100 people present or something like that. There's a band playing or a DJ, and the guys and girls are out. Middle of summer, beautiful. It's just peachy. You couldn't imagine a more clement situation to run into a few women, right? And see how the dance goes. So we all go out to a place like that. The first level of ego that is going to stop any of us from really seeing when attraction is there is when we're in self-referencing thoughts of, am I enough?
Mm-hmm.
So in an attempt to go out on a Friday night and not feel embarrassed, I might spend a lot of my week working out in the gym, trying to get my body into a particular shape, agonizing for hours in department store mirrors, trying to find the clothes that suit me. And I go into the soiree on the Friday, and all I'm thinking is, do I look okay? And am I, do I pass the dress code here? Are people going to laugh at me? Are people going to judge me for whatever reason?
Right.
And a lot of men, we hold our bellies tight. Like you can hold your abdomen tight to try and hide the fact that you've got a little blubber on your midriff. And so in holding your abdomen tight to try and show and hold your body in a particular way, you automatically stiffen and you lose actually all of the perception that would go out with subtlety to kind of feel into the room and who's around you. You lose it all because you get all stiff and energy can't circulate. Awareness can't circulate within your own self because it's like a lot of men actually probably go out with a sense of, I want to have fun tonight, but their ego is more invested in, I don't want to get embarrassed or have anything bad thing happen to me tonight. I don't want to approach a woman and fail, and then my buddies are going to laugh at me. So this whole thing of like, I just want to make it through already is going to kill any possible ability that you might perceive a mutual attraction, because you're stuck in a self-referential thinking. I need to hold myself. Am I enough? Do I fit into this place? Everyone here seems to be more affluent or more cool or more something than I am. How am I going to hold up? So this is like the first level of ego. And I think men and women, we're all stuck in our compensations and our hopes that we're perceived a certain way, and then we're not perceived another way. And it gives us very little flexibility in which to act.
Right.
Right. Second layer of ego. Men have, we have all these kind of moral decisions that we make that end up suppressing things for a long time. Like, oh, I can't be attracted to her. She's a work colleague.
Right.
So we kind of shut down some sense of what might be present and put her in a box or suffuse ourselves within this rule. She's a colleague. I can't feel that. She's my Spanish teacher. I can't allow that to be felt. She's the friend of my little sister, or she's the little sister of my friend.
Right. More likely.
Yeah, exactly. I remember having that one. Wasted a good opportunity because she was really, really, really into me. But like, I've decided upon this moral rule, and because of my moral rigidity, I'm not going to feel any attraction that might be there. It's amazing, this force of suppression. God or my pastor or whoever says it's a bad idea to feel attracted to XYZ sort of women. So every time they walk into the room, you know, the mind is going to make a story. I kind of put the plexiglass energetically between me and her. Nothing then can happen. And then 6 months later, you realize that you've been in love with her for a long, long time. You completely missed the window of invitation. And there's no bringing this back. You know, she's so far gone. You missed the interest altogether. So just because there is an attraction between me and my best friend's little sister doesn't mean I have to act on it, but I can still allow the currents and the feeling to be there, right? I can have a nice flirtation. I can show my appreciation. I can enjoy. We can really, you know, but it doesn't mean I have to act. But a lot of us are used to putting up this boundary of, no, it can't be there. Especially the office one, you know.
So in other words, we shut it down ourselves out of a variety of different motivations.
It's the suppression mechanism, as you see, you know, called Victorian suppression. You know, there are feelings that might move in my body. I see in the glimmer of my eye, definitely that's an attractive person to me. And on a very subliminal level, long before we're consciously able to feel it, there is an energy of attraction or something that moves through the body, and it gets slammed down right away. Okay, and another one here is my buddy's new girlfriend. We spoke about this a lot. What do you do if one of your buddies in your group comes in and he's just started dating a girl, he's all happy, and you say, I never, ever, ever have an attraction for a buddy's girlfriend. So that could be a suppression. Like, I never do it. I just categorize her as a person that's not in this field. Or you can allow some feelings to be felt and recognized and be like, oh, actually, yeah, there's an attraction between us. Doesn't mean that I'm going to cross any moral bounds with my friend. But I'm talking about energetic bounds here.
Right.
Not moral bounds. I'm talking about energetic bounds that we brace off. Another thing that guys do, look around the bar, look around the city, and look for the one who is a 9 or a 10, or looks like the one who is his type, or looks like the one who is like his favorite celebrity, or like his ex, or something like that. So we go into a bar, and right at the beginning of the night, all of us are single, all of us are looking around, wondering who's in the place. And a lot of men, or a lot of egos that we all have, are scanning to think, who's the one in here for me tonight? Who am I going to make my target, or the object of my love story, or who is my match? And usually it's going to be a kind of a mind and eye based thing. I scan everyone and I choose, it has to be her. You know, the blonde over there with a big laugh, who's wearing the short red dress and those heels, like, it has to be her, and it can't be anyone else in the place. So we choose based on the ego's own program and fixation. It has to be there. It has to be her. And then you come to me and you're like, hey, Jordan, come and meet these girls. There's like 4 girls. They're beaming, you know, energy freely moving out. They're absolutely open to any engagement. And I'm like, yeah. I already decided that one of the electric blonde over there at the bar is going to be my story for tonight. And I ignore all of the possibilities of attraction that might come from different angles mutually arising, because I made a decision. The ego made a decision. It's going to be her. That's where all my focus goes.
Right.
And then I'm bought in. It's like we're in the, salmon fishing in the Yukon Valley, or trying to imagine some of your landscapes of your youth. And you're like, it has to be that salmon over there. It can't be any of the hundreds that are swimming around my boat, because I already chose that one. And I got fixated on something that's kind of
one, yeah.
Not even here, right? But this is something we do so often. The ego just has its image and thinks that a woman who's close to the image I've got in my mind has to be a target for me. I'm going to make a whole love story drama about this now. And it cuts off any perception about what's actually happening. Because if I end up talking with this blonde in the electric dress, and I can't actually feel any attraction between her and I can't feel her, and I can't feel myself, because I'm now bound up in this story of, how am I going to get her?
Oh, wow.
What do I say next? She said this, what do I say? okay, I'm going to leave because Zan said leave and go back or whatever. What am I going to say when I approach her for a second time? And now all of a sudden I'm in this very stilted strategic way of how am I going to get the girl that I've selected as my target? And again, you're still there with 4 women who, 3 of them actually are just throwing energy out all over the place and making themselves very available and, to interact with me. And I don't feel any of those because I'm stuck.
Are you thinking, Jordan, that these levels of ego is what's keeping us separate, like keeping things not moving forward? The first one is our own self-doubt. That's the ego thing. And then the second thing is, I shouldn't do this because of a variety of reasons. And the third thing is, I'm fixated on one and the rest just don't count right now.
Yeah.
Interesting.
These are all things that we do, and they're natural, or they're naturally, parts of the ego that we've learned and adopted over the years, that unless we start to really see and understand these as being ego fixations or ego patterns that block us, we get stuck in them again, and then we've got no chance of feeling any natural attraction.
Right.
Because I can't feel it because I'm judging myself and my dress, and if I fit in here and, I'm not muscly like that guy, therefore I'm stuck. I now have no capacity for perception or feeling the currents or the sparks of attraction.
Yes.
It's the same thing with choosing one woman out of 100 and she's the only one that exists for me. So, I mean, in my own life, I've had to notice myself get stuck in all these different levels and then stop it, find ways to stop it or to undo this ego so I can let it all go. And when I let go of these different patterns and fixations, all of a sudden I can feel much more. Oh, actually, my eye is definitely drawn to the blonde at the bar. That's definitely a truth. But at the same time, I don't know if she is a worthy, woman for me to put so much attention on yet. Maybe something will unfold with me and her over the night. Maybe I'll just walk over to her and say hello. But in the meantime, you're introducing me to 4 completely available women. I'm going to turn and feel that energy and breathe, allow my body to relax and breathe. Actually, I don't need to go anywhere else. These 4 women that we've just met are everything. Everything is available here. So that is now on the table because I relaxed the fixated part, which was my ego. So the big skill with attraction is self-navigation, I think, before anything else.
Just to your point on this third thing, I can't tell you how many guys I've talked to who just say, well, one guy said, well, I go to the salsa class, and there's 200 women there. And I go to all the meetups and all this kind of stuff for salsa, and I'm not attracted to any of them. I'm thinking, what? And he's single and lonely and hiring me for advice. 200 women in this salsa environment of his. And he's saying that none of them are my type. Well, that's got to be ego driven, right?
100%. It's the clearest case. If I go to a salsa dance and there are 2 women, I'm probably attracted to one of them.
Me too.
If it's just one woman and it's the teacher, I'm probably attracted to her as well. Or
I like it.
If it's not some big story, then at least there is an energy. Like I dance with her, I move her, I feel her. She's put on a perfume, and I'm like, oh no, I'm a first-time salsa.
For sure.
I'm getting even more stiff. Trying to do this fluid thing with you. Like, definitely in the case of I go to a salsa festival and there's 200 women, I'm not attracted to anyone. I would say that there are a number of different ego parts, all with their own defensive activity that are looking somehow to keep him safe, but that keep him in a perpetuated drama of his own creation. So either he's going in, am I good enough even? Are all the women going to smell here that I'm a loser and that I'm 40 years old, never had a relationship, and, I'm just going to be humiliated.
Right.
So that might be the person's truth. And then on the top, no one here is good enough for me, actually. Well, that's just the defensive kind of strategy. So he doesn't have to tackle what's underneath. The thing is like, okay, I'm looking for Penelope Cruz or, from my generation. I'm going to this salsa thing. I'm looking for, Yeah, Anna Diarmas or something like that. And anyone a little bit less good looking in that kind of conventional way is she's written off, because I want for my own self-image, it's only going to do for me that when I walk into my high school reunion or I meet up with my friends at the golf club, that I walk in with an Anna Diarmas or a Penelope Cruz on my arm. Anyone less than that is going to result in my own self-image being lower.
That's
you
right.
know, the person who is like, I only wear Hermes and Louis Vuitton and this kind of stuff because I am so precious, I can't have a flawed human woman. Therefore, I'm looking for perfection. It's a complete ego play. And you could easily discount 200 real flesh and blood women who would be quite happy to meet you, who would offering their bodies, their figures to dance with you. You would discount all of them, right? So you have to understand you've got your ego pattern that keeps them away, the defensive aspect, but then you've got the vulnerability underneath. You're trying to protect some kind of image of yourself and trying not to be hurt. Basically, abandoned, embarrassed, humiliated in front of all these people. That's the deep fear that we're guarded against.
Or there's this smack of underneath all that in your psyche that you just are suspicious or just don't like women. So you're looking for that perfect model of one that transcends the other ones. And these 199 that you see here just don't add up to your expectation because you don't appreciate women. You don't like who they are, which is so not just the defense mechanism, but just your own entitlement, I guess.
My hunch is, and I'm typically charitable, but if a man can identify and unwind some of his ego defenses and his patterns, what you come down to is self-appreciation and self-love.
Yes.
Self-empathy, self-compassion. And then through those eyes, it becomes a lot more easy to give that to everybody else. God, you know what? Now that I'm not afraid that the bad thing will happen, now that I don't have to objectify all these women because I'm looking for the one diamond in a million that is going to complete me and allow me to tell the story of who I am and how I'm a winner as a compensation for my past. You look around at the actual women there and you can look at them through the self acceptance that you bring yourself. So I think there is a naturally occurring birth of a love for women, but it's tangled up with you seeing your own pattern and letting it go. If I'm in a deep state of self-love, a lot of men are, really wanting to understand self-love, self-acceptance. If I come and I'm sat there and I'm like, you know what? For the first time in years, I just feel like I'm completely okay in my brokenness, in this messy life that I'm struggling to navigate. But me, there's a goodness in me, there's a beauty in me, and I can feel that on this night. I had an epiphany. I feel that. But when you feel that, you look through your eyes, all of a sudden, every person you see, male or female, is worthy of the same unconditional acceptance as well. It's the birth of you actually having the on a spiritual layer, a really good core of a love for women.
Right.
So that this is all beneath the ego drama, which is endless. 10, 15 years I'm trying to unpick these different tendencies of me until I get to a point where I'm like, actually, yeah, I can speak to a group of women full of acceptance, full of compassion, full of mirth, full of enjoyment, lacking any fixation whether I get them or not. The fourth thing is a few of our viewers love the whole sense of the finite and the infinite game. The book and the concept Infinite Game.
I don't know. No.
Very in brief, an infinite game is a game you can play forever. So even though there are moments of winning and loss, the whole point is we play the game so that the game perpetuates and therefore it brings us all community, fulfillment, joy, and evolution. But a finite game is I win, you lose.
Right.
Like a boxing, like a knockout. One of us is going to win or lose. Even if it's a tie, it ends up on points and someone's going to win. So a lot of men, the ego investment is, I've chosen this girl over here and we've been talking and it's been 3 rounds and I've been there all night and definitely I've, escalated to this point where she's taking the bait and on the hook and all the rest of I'm already at second base or whatever it is. We see ourselves as being a position down the line. I'm now invested in winning and not losing. And for men, what does winning mean? I take her home, I sleep with her, and I have a story I can tell to myself the next day and to everybody else. What does it mean to lose? She runs away with Zan. And I never even saw it happen. She runs away with this other buddy who's younger and less skilled than me. The guy that I was giving mentoring to, she takes a liking to him. I take her away, and literally somewhere between the taxi and her front door, she goes cold and doesn't want to invite me in anymore. Or somewhere in the bedroom, she's like, so this fixation of I will get all my victory and my meaning from sleeping with her turns her into a finite game. I'm in a win-lose scenario. Well, the more I'm drawn into, I have to get her, Zan. I tell me, what do I need to do to close the deal, to make it work? When I'm like that, men can't spot how attraction increases or decreases. Often in this situation, it decreases because she feels your fixation. And she's like, God, this guy's getting persistent, grabby, imposing, and I need to pull away. And the man is like, I have to win her. And he's got no idea that her felt attraction for him has gone from an 8 to a 0. He's fixated on getting her. And I think the really the pernicious thing about this is, I spoke with a lot of men who have a limerence for somebody or an obsession, and innocently, it's not like, I just gave a very kind of make a bad guy out of the guy who gets fixated on the conquest, but a lot of men innocently, without understanding why, might spend a year or two in a crush over somebody. So you've turned you getting Michelle and making Michelle your girlfriend, and the quest to have her be your girl and have all the mushy, lovey times that you want to have with her. She is the central defining figure of quest in your life. Then whether you are winning today with Michelle or losing today with Michelle, it's amazing. Did she give me eye contact in the refectory? How long is she waiting before she replies to my messages? Or, the emoji she gives me either gives me the sense that I'm going more towards victory or more towards loss in my quest of the relationship with Michelle. Any other of the 4 billion women on the planet, if there is any attraction that is arising from her or between you and her, doesn't get seen because your ego is completely wrapped up in a limerence. It's a love affair that's not an actual relationship. I feel like I'm in love with her. I have a crush on her for a long time. So
that's another
that
thing.
gets in the way. Yeah. So whether it's a 1 hour thing or whether it's a 1 year thing, you don't have any perception. It's like you're walking through the forest trying to hunt, but you're thinking about someone that got away or someone you miss every opportunity that you have of being in tune with the present moment and the infinite possibility of who you might meet. Right.
That's a lot of barriers to go through to find one you're attracted to.
Well, you said at the start of the episode, it's already a subtle skill to be able to see when a woman is giving you signals of attraction versus when she's hiding it or when she's not there. I have an incredible intuition, and you've given me some guidance for this about she's hiding how she feels because she has to, but underneath her hiding, which is her own ego mechanism, there is, in her heart, in her body, in some place of pleasure, she feels mirth when you speak to her and say these things and get close, right? So you're having an intuition to pick up on some invisible thing that she's actively playing peekaboo with you with. So the refinement of this skill for me is when I'm stopped doing all the ego patterns, I start having a chance to actually see this.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. And the fifth one, we'll talk about some more happy stuff in a minute, but the fifth one I just want to signal is doubt. So when her signals are actually quite obvious, I've been in this situation a number of times. I really feel something for a woman, and she's beautiful and she's giving me it seems that she likes me. And I'm there thinking, does she like me? She can't like me. A woman like that, she can't like. A woman like that, she could like me. But this one, who I've, thrusted on her this epitaph of goddess and who is all of this in my mind, how can she like me? And, 5 of her friends are saying things like, Jordan, she likes you.
Yeah.
It's clear. I've never seen her like this before. Jordan, she likes you. She told me she likes you. And I'm still like, yeah, but she's probably teasing me, and she's probably setting you up to tell me that she likes me so that I then approach her, so then she can reject me, and then everyone is going to laugh.
I win the game. It's a normal.
Yeah. Right?
We can't believe it. We can't believe we're good enough ever.
Yeah, so if I have a deep script which I've imbibed since the age of 2 or 3, based on inferences of my parents' availability, or however deep this ego rabbit hole goes, right? I look at a woman and I think, God, I would love a woman like I would love you, actually, and she's giving me all the signals in the world, and I have to make up some story of paranoia, of how this can't be true, and my doubts will end up creating the confusion, aversion signal in her that she's like, I don't know what's going on with this guy. I tried to make it clear.
Self-sabotage the relationship by just being unreasonable and wrapped up in your own doubts and questioning your own viability for the relationship. Why would she be with me? And then overrides everything, and you destroy things.
Yeah, we're walking down the street together in the moonlight. All it takes at this point is I invite her into my place, or we go and take a ride taxi home or something. We're walking together in the moonlight, and she's just like sharing with me stuff and talking to me stuff and things like that. And there's this clench in my own body. I'm like, the doubt monster is like, I don't believe this is true. And she's like, why are you, she's feeling, why are you kind of closed off? This is a moment where, you could take my hand and look me in the eyes and give me a kiss under the lamppost, but you're just like doughty and snarky, and you're turning in and you're cutting actually where this mutual energy would otherwise want to go. Well, it's because of a script of doubt, right? So these are a number of different features of the ego. I think we could do more. I think this covers a lot of it. As a viewer, like, how many of these do you recognize yourselves in? Like, I have an abundant, I could write a book on all 5, right?
Yeah, me too.
But since I've stopped doing this, I actually get to participate in this thing of, and I believe full felt that attraction can be mutual, or attraction can be, there's kind of a current underneath her as a separate individual, underneath me as a separate individual. There's this kind of mysterious current, the process. You talk about process philosophy in the universe, the process, the emergent, evolving process of the universe comes through both of us at the same time, and is saying, yeah, evolve, get together, do your thing, fall in love, hook up. The universe wants us. So I believe if I'm out of the way, like this kind of thing, I'm going to be brought together on the cusp of many waves, crashing into many other female waves, and it's going to be fun.
100%. Yeah.
So that when you get into the embodiment world, there's a lot of people that say attraction is co-arising.
You mean co-created or
co-arising?
Okay, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I've had this experience many, many times, and then I think about, I don't know, Sydney Sweeney or Marilyn Monroe. Let's say Sydney Sweeney, 100 million men around the world, pleasuring themselves to her image at the same time. Is she pleasuring herself to the 100 million men around the world who are alone in their bedrooms, thinking about her? I would think not, but at the same time, maybe. She wants the adulation. Like, I think one of the things about Marilyn Monroe and why she became so famous is, on some level, she was attracted to the adulation of, what if 100 million men absolutely love me? What if the whole world loves me? Right. Can I give energy in such a way that inculcates the whole world to love me back? Maybe there is some mutuality there. It's not individual. It's one woman in a collective. But one of the great things that I found, and I think that so many of us have got to go through because it's freeing, is a lot of men have their type. They're either fixated on getting a certain type of woman again and again, and they either get that or they fail. They're forever frustrated. They can never get the perfect 10, and decades go by. Or they do have a type and they do get her again and again, but the same thing happens all the time. It's the same woman, the motherly energy, the girl next door, the same jealous, possessive, dramatic fights. And a lot of men get to a certain point and they're like, I wish I could attract a different type. I'm good actually with a certain kind of woman. I know how to dance that dance, but there are types of women that I never go for. And I always get stuck in the same thing. And I think one of the freest things, the most incredible breakthroughs for me has been when the ego is out the way and I can start to feel attraction in a more mysterious way, a more embodied way.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I noticed that women that I wouldn't be drawn to with my mind are drawn to me. And if I slow down and meet them a bit, feel myself, I might realize that I'm drawn to them as well.
Exactly.
And it turns out that my body has a real appetite for a number of different women that my adolescently conditioned mind, with all of the pin-up girls I had on my wall, that guy would never perceive because he's stuck in his prefixed notions of what attraction should be. But the body itself is like much more friendly. It's much more appetite. And the
cosmopolitan.
Exactly. And the body itself could realize that even a lot of my mind-based attractions, actually, there's no juice in it. I'm attracted to this woman who's stiff and lifeless. She looks like the mirage of everything I ever wanted. But when I talk to her, she doesn't move. Nothing emanates from her. She's like a mannequin to me, to the body.
Yeah.
What a shift in perception it is to come out of the ego and then live your life of attraction from a different seat.
Yeah.
So in my work specifically, some people might be asking how. I'll just give a little pointer, but like in my coaching work specifically, there are ways of working with the ego, the parts work, parts of the ego to dissolve these patterns. There are ways of working with the body. So the body becomes this bigger and more robust radar of feeling truth, trusting intuition, perceiving heat, when a woman is really giving you heat and when a woman is cold. And therefore, what do you do with that? You've got a more trustable antenna.
We've definitely thought about this a long time. I mean, you articulated these layers and this deconstruction of attraction and what's clouding our attraction, clouding our perception of attraction from her side too. So it's you really, really deep dived into this and articulated in a way that I hadn't thought of.
Well, the flippant part of me says I had some really good coffee this week after I got G's question. But on the other hand, this is the conversation I've been having for almost 15 years.
Yeah.
Right. So men are coming in and they want some structural advice, what to say in what order in order to get to the particular outcome. Like there's a hope for a mechanical outcome. Actually, most men I work with don't hold this hope for a mechanical outcome. They're aware that they've got some kind of block, but it's like, this keeps happening, that keeps happening. I don't know how to resolve it. And for sure, it's a pattern that our ego has been doing for a long period of time. But just to say, that's your ego is very unhelpful. Okay, sure, it's my ego. I've heard the word ego a billion times. It's never actually, no one's actually shed any light on what the ego is, how it really does its thing, and how I'm going to get in there and untangle the pattern, befriend what it's trying to protect, make peace with my real fear in the situation, and come to a place of self-love and self-understanding. I mean, that's a predictable process you can work through. But the hardest thing in all of it is even knowing that you're in an ego pattern as it is.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. We think it's reality. Women are just like this. It always happens to me. I literally always get the most beautiful girl in the club, and every single night we're on the pavement outside and she escapes into the taxi. Every time I fall in love, it's her last night in the city before she goes back to her whole country. Why is the universe like, well, it's not like it for me or the next guy or for you, right? So there's a self-created way.
Yeah.
And the art is untangling that.
Style.
Yeah. I wanted to finish off by asking you actually, because as a antidote to the brutal inner work and all the ways that we've been getting in our own way, there is a field or a vision on the other side of it, right? So what does it mean to be in a flow state sober? What is it like to be in the midst of a social gathering and you can feel attraction without fixation, without investment, without a drama, without having to protect yourself? What is it like to be open, to notice different potential attractions all around you, and just having some freedom to act in that? I'd love to hear a scene of you of when you're in a kind of flow state and there's aliveness, polarity and aliveness abounds. What's it actually like to be in your best?
Well, that's
To
like
be at
trying
your best.
flow state in an artistic expression. Like I'm waiting for the muse to hit me before I can write. And every writer knows, every artist knows that the muse comes along when you're already doing the work. And so your flow state comes from you going and actively agreeing with yourself and nodding your head to yourself that I'm going to go out into this world and I'm going to engage and be social, even though, because your ego and all the things you talked about and all these excuses we make, Jordan, will override that and say, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet because I still haven't overcome these 3 ego points that Jordan mentioned. I still feel a twinge of doubt, and I feel a twinge of, maybe I shouldn't do this, and also self-doubt and all these things. And I have all that until I get that resolved. So I have to go internal and do my internal work to become this integrated, embodied man that can go out in a flow state and go out there and not care what people think and be social and shake hands and grin and kiss babies and the whole thing, right? But you're not going to be that. These ego markers that well up in you are going to be there ever present, and you've got to shake hands with it, pat it on the back, and say, "Run along there, because I'm going to go talk to this girl no matter what. I'm going to do it anyway." And so, the flow state comes from you actually presenting and doing the work, just like writing. You get into flow state if you write. If I don't write, I might be smitten by something in the middle of the night. I want to write about that. But to just sit down and look at my writing, it's a chore, and it plods along, and I stare at it and I think, what am I doing? This is ridiculous. But if I keep sitting there staring at it, being self criticizing it, the flow state comes, and all of a sudden you feel like, well, wait a minute, now I got something here. And so you're not going to overcome this ego. You can become aware of it. In this video, all the things you described, if a man listens to this, he's going to become aware of the patterns he has and maybe why he hesitates. And awareness is curative, as I've always said. So I think, like you said, what is it like in the world of Zanparian to be in a flow state without alcohol and just wander into the earth? Well, I'm sitting there scratching my head too. But I know that it's the actual work. It's the reps. You got to do your reps. You've got to go and talk to women, and that's the only saving grace. It's the only thing that'll make any sense for you, that'll come to fruition in any way. No matter what you're internally feeling, you've got to say, okay, well, that's not helpful. I'm lonely, and I'd like to be not lonely. I want to talk to this girl, as opposed to wait till I'm in shape from the gym, wait till I've learned all the funny things from Toastmasters, watch Jordan's podcast over and over again, and so that I really understand my ego. You just got to go.
Yeah, to this point, I really agree with you. Because it can be another trip to be like, okay, these are the 5 things I must overcome to be egoless. And then I'm good. That's another ego trip, which is how much ego or lack of ego have I got as I'm walking through the bar. And in the moment, I'm self-referencing what's going on in my own mind. Or I see a lot of guys do this. I work with a lot of men who do a version of this. And some people have to, I think some people have to take 2 or 3 years off of all going out and socializing to work on their inner stuff. And some people are compelled to do it. I get it. From a pure dating, if you're doing some kind of inner work because you actually want to improve your relationship life, if you feel awkward and dislocated dating and trying to speak to women, and then you do 2 or 3 years of inner psyche, parts work, embodiment work, all the stuff to get into the body and let your ego go. When you come back into social life, you're going to feel even more dislocated, because not only are you out of practice for 3 years, but you get to see how much ego is in everybody else. It's kind of awful. You go out to a club and it's like the night of the living dead. Everyone is just playing out their patterns all over each other, and it's social life is a shit show after you've really refined your intuition and you can understand what's going on with people. So I think this thing of making sure you constantly, like 1 day a week as practice, 2 dates a week as practice, 1 night in the bar or the club. You choose a place you like to go to, not where all the hot girls are or where everyone else is. Choose a place you like to go there, but you put yourself in a social environment ritualistically, so that when you do your inner work and as you work with your ego, which is endless, which is only going to double once you're in a relationship and you see how your patterns come up. So you might as well take action today. I like knitting together this altar. I'm going out 2 nights, 3 nights a week to take some steps and to be with women and to experience myself being with women, to enjoy women, to realize that just what is a life anyway? I should fill it. The good life is to fill it with beautiful, effervescent people that I enjoy and that I'm attracted. That's just my life, right? And at the same time, I inquire into my ego and try and work through the things that are keeping me stuck. So it can be a bit of a process over a period, but I think that just is the path, right? I wanted to say before we wrap up, the original question from G is around noticing when mutual attraction is there. I can't say enough. Do not underestimate what happens in the first 10 or 15 minutes of an encounter with a woman, when you, in her mind, are a blank slate. And no matter how skeptical she might be about men in general, you might be the one who is different. So the amount of, if I look back on my 20s in particular, the amount of women that I met or was introduced to or ran into who were positively beaming on first impression, positively beaming within 5 minutes, 10 minutes, they were throwing me so much of their light and energy and attention. And after 15 minutes, I'd probably screwed something up or said something stupid that had her kind of dial down her energy and then end up tailing off and going to speak to somebody else.
To talk.
While you are a blank slate, just a present. So, you're still all possibility. Your human failings have not scuppered everything yet. But this is a miraculous period of time, because a lot of men think they have to do something to generate attraction, or do something to, I don't know, create a spike or create interest or something like that. I think, in my opinion, if all you do is practice being aware of, is she attracted and does she seem open and is she throwing energy and is she emitting energy?
Right.
If you're just paying attention to that and you're paying attention to, can I relax? Is my body relaxed? Am I enjoying? How much can I enjoy this? If you just pay attention to what kind of energy is she throwing off? What kind of enjoyment do I feel as I hear her, listen to her, speak her? Just by being aware of that actually amplifies the whole field of attraction that takes place. The moment you start trying to tell the funny story, trying to do all that stuff might happen spontaneously, blurt. So often we blurt things that are far better than what our mind would think of. But if you can just relax and enjoy and notice what she's throwing and see if there is any sense of a bubble, any sense of a you and her, and does that feel like something unique, and just wondering. For me, that those have proven the conditions under which attraction can flourish.
Yeah.
Any thought, riposte?
Oh, no,
last piece?
I think this was an exhaustive conversation and description that you gave. And I'm sitting listening to you because I don't have it articulated on that level, but it's very real. So, no, I think it's well said. Yeah.
Well, G, you asked for more content on this topic.
You got it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think that the big difference between the work that you do and I do is that my embrace of the psychological level has been fundamental to my own path. The psychological and the embodied level, and how those can be predictable paths that we can work towards this sense of the sublime, the sense of the transcendence in the encounter, the sense of devotion in an ongoing relationship. There's a method and a path here. So I'm glad I get to share more in depth. If you have comments, questions, stories, all the rest of it, then let us know.
Yeah, good, Jordan. Very well articulated.